Hello and welcome to Sit Down with the Chief. Norman Seabrook's co-defendant in a robbery case pleaded guilty, but that might not hurt Norman's chances of beating a second trial. Richard Steyer explains.
Basically, Murray Uberfeld, the hedge fund operator who had allegedly paid a $60,000 bribe to Seabrook in return for $20 million worth of investments from COBA's funds into Platinum Partners, took a plea in such a way that it doesn't necessarily compromise Seabrook's chances. One key element of that is that he is not becoming a cooperating witness as part of the plea. The other one is that what he pleaded to is not a bribe per se. It is to defrauding his own firm, not even COBA, which put up the $20 million and apparently lost most of that money in this case. And so that you have a situation in which he's removed as a defendant. Seabrook will go back to trial scheduled for July 30th, and he is bringing with him his attorney, Paul Schechtman, who did such a good job of discrediting the prime government witness against both Seabrook and Uberfeld, Jonah Rechnitz, that wound up with a hung jury. And in terms of the bribery count against them, the jurors were 11-1 in favor of acquittal, where on the conspiracy count, which was the first count in the case, they had voted 10-2 to convict. Neither one amounted to anything because you need a unanimous verdict in order to get a conviction, but it's sort of instructive and perhaps significant that they were so strongly against convicting on the bribe itself. Paul Schechtman, Seabrook's attorney, had done a masterly job of discrediting Jonah Rechnitz by basically pointing to some of the other scams unrelated to this that he had been involved in. He also pointed out some behavior in a couple of non-scam cases that was going to cast doubt in jurors' minds about whether they wanted to believe Rechnitz. He is likely to take the same line of attack. And one reason that it's important for him to go after Rechnitz's credibility is that members of the COBA board, including the president who replaced Seabrook, Elias Hussein, had testified in the course of that trial that basically Seabrook was evasive, had not told them about the last $10 million that he invested, and even on the first $10 million, had pushed ahead even though advice from a union lawyer might have suggested that caution was more in order, something that was proved out by the final result and by Platinum Partners eventually filing for bankruptcy. And so that it's going to come down to where is the jury going to focus this time around? Is it going to focus on Rechnitz to the exclusion of the testimony from the board members, or is the prosecution going to be successful in getting them to keep their eye on what's being said by Seabrook's former colleagues?
Thank you, Richard Steyer, and thank you for watching Sit Down with the Chief.